it's Christy. I am going to show you how to debone a chicken real quick and make some chicken soup in the Instant Pot. You're going to need some sharp knives. Get you a chicken. I'm going to just really get into it. The gentleman that I watched and learned how to do this, his name is Jacques Pepin, and you can find him on YouTube. It's called a galantine or a ballantine for your chicken, and it debones it really fast, but it leaves the skin on it if you want to stuff it. I don't want to stuff it, so I'm just going to show you all the deboning part real quick because it makes it really easy when you need to have chicken for soup. I do want to show, just in case, because I have a lot of followers who've never cut a chicken before, a whole chicken or bought a whole chicken, but when you buy it, there is going to be something on the inside. This is the giblets. It's usually the organ meat, liver, heart, kidneys, that sort of thing. The neck sometimes will be in there. So you can just put that to the side if you like to use that, for your food. Go at it. I'm not a fan of it, so it will go in the bone broth bucket for me. So the next thing what you want to do is we're going to cut our wings off. And just cut it right, I don't know if you can see this well enough. I'm hoping that I'm at the right angle for you. But right in here somewhere, you don't really have to force it. You can kind of find where it bends and go through. And sometimes I mess up, like just now, starting off the bat. That's okay. That's my life. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and go through it that way, but I might have to use this other knife. Well, my goodness, I have just really messed that up. Okay, so what I needed to have done was slid over just a hair and cut in between that joint, but I didn't. It is what it is. So, the guy on the show, Jacques Pepin, he does show you how you can cut this wing and make a lollipop. Actually, it's a little lollipop if you want to get specific. He's a cute little French guy, so he has an accent. One thing I do use, I like to use a red rag on my hip because red's for blood. So I know this is my dirty rag. I can use that to grab my chicken with, and I'm going to be okay. But for this, you just take the wing in your hand. It doesn't matter which one. And you're going to break that over. You might have to flip it over and do it again. But you want to pull those two bones up there. And you can take and cut this one off. I am not messing with the meat on this. This goes in my bone broth bucket. But if you take that, you can take one of these, what you're left with is the wing. You can take one of these sticks out here, just pull one of those bones. I don't know which one's gonna be easier to come out. Well, he makes it look so easy. Let me see. You can, he turns this inside out this way. There we go. I might have to get the knife a minute there and just cut that little bone off. And then when you roll this out, he said you can take this piece and dip it in some cracker meal or almond flour or flour if you like, if you use wheat or flour, grains, whatever, your choice. You can keep that for that, and that makes a little lollipop. So I am actually going to just throw that in my bone broth bucket because that's not enough meat for me to mess with. But I did want to show y'all how it's done. Alright, now let's see if I can find the spot to cut on this booger here the right way. There it is, maybe. Let me try it this way. And it might be y'all. Oh, perfect. Yay. I did fix the right spot. So it comes off clean that way. So if you want, if wings are good for you, but I don't mess with them, I just throw them over there. All right, so now we have our arms are cut off here. We're gonna take and put our breast this side up. And if you pull this back a little bit, you can feel right here, this is where the breastbone is gonna be, or the wishbone. So we need to get in on that side there and cut down. And you might have to kind of feel around. Sometimes I cut a little too much, but you want to pull this breastbone out. Sometimes I don't cut up high enough. There we go. So we're gonna pull the breastbone out. And that's gonna make this whole thing a whole lot easier to undress. Now, I am gonna go ahead and just slice down the back. My knives need sharpening again. And like I said, you can keep the skin on if you want. I'm not gonna use the skin, I just wanna get it deboned. All right, so right here, what you have now, we have these wings here. And if you pull this skin back, where this knob is, you can feel that joint right here between those bones. That's where you want to take your knife and cut straight through that. And once you have it down that way, you can hold this side. I'm gonna turn it around so you can see this way. And you're gonna just pull this back. Now, it will pull the breast off too, so just know that. But you're gonna pull this all the way down to right back here. There's two little, I call them the haunches, like you have back here, but they're called oysters, the oyster of the chicken, and that's the most tender and sought after part of the chicken. So you want to make sure you pull back far enough to get that exposed, because we're gonna cut that little sucker out. And I almost need a little bit smaller knife for this, but let's see. And it'll just, you can usually just work your fingers to pop that little piece out right there. That's it right there. And then there's gonna be another one on this side too. All right, and so now I'm gonna do that for this side as well. We're gonna come back, find the wing. You can feel where that joint is. So right where that articulation is, we're gonna cut down right through there, and then bring this down here all the way to that oyster. And then we're gonna cut this oyster out. You can get that side in there. Come up this way. There we go. And there's that side. Okay, once you have this front part here, always just pull that off right there. And then you can actually just pull down here. Might have to work it a little bit, but that whole front piece will come off here. Very little knife work in this if you do it right. Sometimes I don't do it right. A lot of times I don't do it right. And actually I'm really trying to get better at this. I watched the video so many times because I just can't get it as fast as him. He said you should be able to do this in under a minute. Well, there's no way I'm doing it in under a minute. And so actually I'm gonna go ahead and cut that skin off right there because I don't need that piece. Okay, and too, that's gonna let you see how I'm gonna do this part. So I'm gonna turn it around so y'all can see. I'm having to do it backwards. So you pull this leg up, and then when you pull it up, you just twist it back. And when you do that, that bone will pop out right there. And so that's where you're gonna cut this all way through. And then you can just cut that whole piece off. Oh, my skin's not wanting to come loose, is it? I promise y'all, this isn't as hard as I'm making it look. It's a lot easier. But there is my thigh and my leg, and I'll show y'all how to cut that in a minute too. And I'm going to do that same thing to this side here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this part of the skin down. Pull that breast part off. And then, so when this is laying here, you pull your leg up and then back. And then that hip bone will pop out. So once that bone is exposed, just cut right there in between it. You can follow all the way down the bird there. There we go. And then that piece comes off. So what I'm left with, it's still attached. There's my other leg and thigh. And then for this, I'm gonna have to cut down around this because it is not wanting to come off right there. Let me try it this way. There we go. So we'll just pull those breasts off, and then I'll pull that bone piece out in a minute once I get finished. And then these two pieces here are the tenderloins. We're gonna pull them off and keep those. And you can do this a whole lot neater. I just need this for chicken soup, so you can massacre it and it's gonna be okay. If you want it to be pretty, to use it for a display for dinner, then I suggest looking at Mr. Pepin's video because I cannot help you there. So anyway, here's the carcass. I'm not throwing this away. I'm going to keep this and use this for bone broth. So that's going to go in with my other stuff over there, okay? Now, on the tenderloins, they have this tendon here that runs through. I'm going to grab my blood rag. I'm going to just hang on to that piece right there. And then using the back of my knife, I'm going to start scraping the chicken off, and it will just come right off. And then I'm going to throw that in the broth bucket. And I'm going to do the same thing for this one here. Well, I can get a good grip of it. Ugh. That one left a little more meat on the sinew there. There we go. And then that's my tenderloin. I'm gonna, oh, I just dropped some on my toe. I'll have to get that in a minute. So let me stick this back here, and I'm gonna show y'all how to cut the rest of this up. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this hard piece out here. That's the breast, the two breasts here. I kind of massacred them, but you can see they're under there. So I actually want to just pull that skin off there. I'm gonna cut this off. And then just any of the meat that you can, you know, pull off, stick in your meat pile. I put my skin in with my broth. I don't know if you have to or if you're supposed to, but I figured it helps with the flavor. So I do keep the skin. I just don't keep it like he does on his video. But before I knew how to do this, I would have, if I needed to have a chicken deboned, I would have to cook it and then let it cool and then debone it and pick all the chicken off the bones. Well, this is a whole lot easier, especially once you get it down pat. It's not always this hard, I promise. There's that other leg right there. Now, on this one, you can take, he he keeps the bones, he'll hold it like that, and then he takes the back of the knife and he just pulls the meat down off of the bone. I can't get a good grip. And this works a lot easier on the legs instead of the wings. But I do want that meat, so I'm gonna cut that a little bit. It's very sinewy right there. I don't want that part, so I am gonna leave that on there. Maybe I can get to where I can cut the meat off. There we go. Cut that little chunk off there. And I'll just cut it right off the bone. So yeah, a little more steps. I'm not completely proficient. I'm not nowhere proficient with this. But I can do it enough that it saves me enough money, because if I just needed chicken breast, I would pay $9.99 a pound for chicken breast. I can buy a whole chicken for $9.99. So it benefits me to buy the whole chicken and spend a little time. Okay, I'm done with that one though, so I'm gonna just stick it in the broth. Anyway, it benefits me to spend a little time doing this so that I can use this in my chicken soup. So I'm gonna go ahead and just cut this into chunks here. And I do have my Instant Pot is right over here, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw that in out of the way. Oop, that's bone. I don't want to put that in there. And no rhyme or reason to the size of your chicken pieces. Whatever you want. I mean, it's going to cook down anyway. Okay, let me split that breast right there. If you want, you can go through and take out some of this fascia that's on the side. I'm not fooling with it. I'm just going to cut it up and put it in there. It'll melt down when you cook it into soup anyhow. So what else I'm putting in here is pretty much just what I had in my fridge. I've got some celery, some carrots. I need to grab an onion, some garlic. What else do I have over there? Oh, some herbs and mushrooms. And I'm gonna throw that in the pot. And then the soup, you just put it all in there, shut the lid, and hit the button to cook for 20 minutes, and it's done. After it's cooked, I do like to add some coconut milk to cream it up. You can also add, since it is springtime now, even though it's still a little bit cold up here in Iowa, you can also add some lemon zest and lemon juice, and it just gives it a really nice springy flavor. Okay, so for this, I'm going to go ahead and pull off the skin. Now he does, oh, I'm going to have to wipe that off. He does this thing where he chops the back of the leg right there, but it's because he likes to keep it where he can tuck it back in. I don't know, I'm not doing all of that. So I'm just pulling it off. Might have to get the rag. There we go. All right. Now, where you cut a leg and a thigh, if you turn it over, there's this fascia line right here, and usually you can feel right in between where you're supposed to cut, and that will cut your into two pieces, your your thighs and your leg. So for that, he actually, this is where he holds it and scrapes it with a knife to get that off the bone really quick. So maybe this one will go a little bit quicker and y'all can see it. Oh yeah. So you just take and just scrape it on the back of the knife, and it's going to pull all of that down and off. You might have to flip around your rag to get to the other side. But then, see, all the meat comes off just right here. And I can usually, whoop, just pull that out. Man, I'm going to have chicken goo everywhere by the time this is said and done. Alright, I am going to clip that. I'm going to keep that piece. I don't need all of that. So I do, the thigh's kind of fatty. I'm not really a fan of dark meat, but it'll eat. So I do try to trim up the thighs as much as I can. Since they have so much fat on them. Not that I don't like the fat. The fat's good for us, but I'm just not personally a fan of it, of the skin part. And what I'm going to do, if I had any broth, I would add it in here as my base and then make more broth with this bones for my next chicken soup. So after I get all of this done, I'll put these bones in the oven to let them cook. And then I'll, after the chicken soup is done, I'll swap pans out and get my bone broth going. Okay, so my legs, by the time I get through all of that, I'm tired and worn out. I don't feel like messing with them. So I just put them in another Ziploc bag. And when I get like 4 or 6 of them, I'm going to cook these tonight for dinner. So I'm going to throw that over there. And go ahead. Cut down that there. And for those, the chicken legs are really quick in the Instant Pot. Like, you can throw them on a strainer, put them in there, and like 18 minutes they're done. I'm gonna get my rag. It's a slippery little sucker. Okay. Let me pull that out. And there you have it. Chicken is deboned and ready to go in with soup. So I'm not quite sure how long that took me. Sometimes I can do it really quick, and other times it takes me like 30 minutes to cut a dang chicken. So, but it does save me a lot of time as far as with my soups. So I do recommend at least checking out the video. I'll see if I can put the link to his video in mine, because he does such an amazing job, and he's got I love listening to him talk too. Alright, that's that one there. Okay, I'm back, and I'm going to finish showing you how to make the chicken soup. We got the chicken deboned, and now I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients to my Instant Pot that I've put the chicken in. I'm actually going to still, maybe that won't be in the way up there. I have some mushrooms that I've already taken I call them the buttons, the stems. So stems and the buttons, I've already separated them, but I don't throw these away. I am going to keep these for bone broth. All of my vegetable scraps I will keep and save for broth. Let me show you. This is some that I've already had in the freezer, and I try to keep my bags fill up as much as I can. But you can see there's herb sticks, celery, garlic peels, onion peels, all of that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to throw any of that away, because this helps to make your bone broth super, super flavorful. Flavorful. Flavorful, flavorful. All right. So I have some herbs here. I went ahead and started add them, but then I thought, well, what if somebody doesn't know how to strip herbs? So I was going to show you real quick. This is thyme. I hate thyme. I don't have time to strip thyme, but a really quick way is to hold it up at the top pretty firmly, and then with this hand, you're just going to pull it down against the grain, basically, and then you'll have all your leaves there. And then I just take that first little few and pinch it off. This is going to go into my bone broth pile. So again, just hold it at the top and then just whoop. Sometimes it doesn't do that and you have to start over and start over. This is why I hate thyme. And then you can strip it that way. You can put the sticks in your chicken soup if you want. I don't like to because they're sticks and they're hard. But they do work really well for the bone broth. So that's going to go in there with the mushrooms. And then this is just some sage, and then I had some rosemary. Same thing for rosemary. Hold it at the top and then just pull down. And then you'll be stripped. And then just pull the top off. Throw the stick in there. I think that's enough herbs for that one. And then you can just, I like to crush the herbs just so that they start to release their oils. And the smell is amazing. And I'm actually not going to put these in at the beginning, but I'll put these at the end. After it's finished cooking, then I'll add these herbs and let them sit and simmer. But I did want to go ahead and have them cooked and ready, or chopped and ready. So I'm going to slide this right here for a second. Okay, and then I've got some garlic. Yes, I cheated and bought peeled garlic. It is what it is. So I'm going to just chop this up. It doesn't have to be super fine. We don't mind. We love garlic, so we'll eat it in chunks. And then I'm going to just throw that in my bucket with the chicken. And then I'm going to do some celery. This is the saddest celery I've ever seen in my life. Oh, but it'll still cook all right. I'm going to take that, saving it for the bone broth, and then just chop this up, if it'll even chop. It's so limp. It's not very crunchy, but like I said, it'll do for the soup. It'll be a wonderful flavor. And this will last, David and I, this pot will last us a week. Easy. Alright, and then I don't like mushrooms. So the mushrooms get put in whole, so that way I can pick them out when I fix my own bowl. I don't, no, I hate mushrooms. I hate them. I'll eat them if I have to ground them up. I can eat them. And I love the flavor that they give, but I'm not going to just sit and eat mushrooms. It's a texture thing. And then I just grabbed a couple of carrots. We'll chop those up real quick. Bone broth. to buy. All right, onion. I'm gonna cut it in half. Well, I didn't do a very good job at cutting it in half, did I? So I'm gonna peel the peelings off. Whoop, bone broth. That's gonna go over here. Alright, whoa, slippery little sucker. All my onion peels in here with my bone broth. Scraps. Alright, so for this, just take and make some cuts all the way around. It doesn't even have to be, I don't know, a 1/4 inch, 1/8 of an inch. I can't eye measurements like that. So just cut it straight down all the way around, and then when it's finished, it will be in the perfect size that I need. And I'm fixing to start crying. Here it comes, the tears. So now you can just take and twirl and spin and push and cut and twirl and spin and push and cut over and over. Whoops, I left some skin on. Let me grab that skin. Whoop, over here. I don't know the secret to cutting onions without crying. So if anybody knows what that is, please somehow tell me. Bone broth. Okay, and actually, I think that's enough bone broth. Or I'll cut it for something later. So we're gonna put those in here. I'm gonna get my salt. And I love salt, so I'm gonna put a bunch. I don't know. And this is big pieces, but I really like my chicken soup salty. I think it's a thing from my childhood. Whenever I was sick, Mama would bring me some chicken noodle soup, and it was always so salty. Woo! Okay, so now that's ready. When I was wiping my eyes, I turned my eyelid inside out. I'm gonna take and just put some water, and this is just filtered water, and I'm gonna fill it to the max line that they have on the Instant Pot, which you might can see it from that way. It's gonna be backwards, but it's right here. Okay, that's it. So next we'll go to the kitchen and put it in the Instant Pot. Okay, so I've got it in the Instant Pot. I did go ahead and add a little bit of turmeric. Actually, I put a little bit too much, but oh well, it's already in there. So we're gonna have us some turmeric-y chicken soup. That's all right. All right. So we're gonna put that there. Put my lid on. Hit pressure cook. 20 minutes, good to go. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this because it's got a minute left, so it's not gonna hurt it. I am gonna flip it around. I've got my coconut milk sitting here ready, so I'm gonna have to be careful since I'm one-handing it that I don't knock all of that over. I'm gonna flip this back and then go ahead and do a quick release. All right, let's see what it looks like. It might fog up a little bit. Give it just a second to clear out. And we have soup. Chicken's all nice and cooked. And now I'm gonna just add my coconut milk in. I add the fat and all. That's what well, it's already melted, but I'll show you on this one. Like the big chunks, that'll melt. But that's a good healthy fat for us. And it makes the chicken soup super, super creamy. The best part about this chicken soup is there's no nasty MSGs like there are in the chicken noodle soup that you get at the store. Unless it specifically says it doesn't have it, but then it's probably got other stuff that's not good. So just make it at home. It's a lot cheaper too. I mean, this didn't cost me hardly anything. A thing of mushrooms, a thing of celery, a chicken, about 5 carrots, an onion, a handful of garlic. See how much that creamed up? And sometimes I like to, let me grab my little attachment here. I like to take my mixer that I have hooked up right here and just give it a little mix, just to kind of, it'll help thicken it up a little bit too. And then just knock that off. I could go as much mush as I wanted, honestly. Sometimes I get carried away and it's just nothing but mush. So I kind of like a little mix of in between where you still have some chunks, but then you still have soup. So let me take this off, and then I wanted to show y'all one other thing real quick. So it does look like there is a whole lot of broth and not a whole lot of soup. Let me tell you why I like to do this. We drink broth every morning. So anytime I make soup, I add extra water so that I can have extra broth for us to drink in the mornings. And so what I do is when I'm filling up my jars, I'll put like 3 scoops of, I call them bits, of the bits in the jars, and then I'll get the ladle and fill the rest of it up with broth. And then any broth that I have left over, I will put into containers, and we'll just drink on that like we would coffee or tea in the mornings. We always add our butter to that. So this is really good and creamy. I can't wait to taste it. It's a little hot, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out, and I'm gonna put the chicken legs in. So I'll be right back. These are the chicken legs that I had left over from deboning chickens. I added some oregano, basil, turmeric, salt, onion, garlic, and some lemon peel to this. And I'm going to just mix all of this up real good and let this soak in these for a little bit until my chicken soup is done in the Instant Pot. Then I'm going to put these in the Instant Pot for about, I don't know, there's not very many, so maybe 15 minutes. And then these will be ready to eat. All right, so now we're gonna do the chicken legs. I got about, I don't know, there's probably 3/4 cup of the broth out of the chicken soup that I just made. And I'm gonna put this little trivet in here. And then I'm just gonna throw this chicken legs on here. Don't these look good? They look like barbecue chicken legs without the spices, because we can't have spices because no nightshades. And I'm going to stick that piece in there just for some flavor. All right, that's it. I'm going to set this in the Instant Pot. Close the lid. Nice thing is my pressure is already contained. So now I just need to set it for 13 minutes. And actually I'm going to do about 15 minutes and we'll be good to go. And I just realized I say we'll be good to go a whole lot. So I'm going to work on that. But here we go. I'm going to put pressure cook and 15 minutes. All right, the chicken is done. And I do a little trick. I stick it in the oven for just a minute to brown it. All right, there are the chicken legs. You can stick them under the broiler for 5 to 7 minutes, 10 minutes, however long you want to golden them up a little bit. But they are delicious and juicy and tasty. So this is the chicken that I just deboned, and I've already slathered it with avocado oil, and then I'm going to stick it in the oven at 375 until it's golden. Not quite ready. Still has a lot of white left. I want it good and golden brown. Okay, let's see if this is ready. Oh yeah, good and golden. Okay, you can tell these are nice and golden. And I'm going to just put the entire, everything, the grease that's all in there, and the bones, the skin, all of it in the Instant Pot. Okay, now I've got my chicken carcass that I roasted in the oven. I went ahead and poured the broth from the chicken legs that I cooked back in here. And then this is one of my bags of vegetable scraps that I had left over from last time. And I am going to, let me see. Sorry, I have to grab my water. I thought I had it right there. So now I'm just going to go ahead and fill this up with water. And you can see, like, that's carrot scraps, onion scraps, celery scraps, rosemary. All that's in there. There's garlic scraps down there. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill this all the way up to the max line. And then we're going to add some salt, of course. And some black peppers. And a splash of apple cider vinegar with the mother. All right, there's that. Let me grab this. Give my apple cider vinegar a shake. And then I'm just going to pour a splash or so in there. And then we're going to add some salt. And I love my broth salty, so I put a good bit of salt, probably a half a cup in that. And I think I'm going to add peppercorns instead of cracked pepper. Those seem to give David a little bit of heartburn. So I'm going to try just a few of those.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then give that a mix up. Bones are at the bottom. Water, and then vegetable scraps. Apple cider vinegar and salt and pepper. I'm going to go ahead and shut this. And I have set porridge to automatically 4 hours. And that's it. Okay, well, that's it. We deboned a chicken. We used that chicken to make chicken soup, and then used the bones to make bone broth, and used the legs to make a yummy snack. So we got a lot accomplished today. I'm worn out, but I did want to show y'all real quick, because the ferments that I posted the other day, I wanted to show y'all a little bit of an update. You can see where this one has, this is the jicama, and it started to cloud up. So not too much longer, and that's going to be ready. My purple onions aren't quite as cloudy as I like, so I'm going to leave those for a little bit. Now, these purple onions are starting to cloud up, so that's kind of cool. I think it's because there's jicama in with that. And then my carrots are starting to cloud up too. So another couple of days and those should be ready. I hope y'all have a good night.